Without proper example, it will lead to a lot of difficulties. And Krishna will say, even I set an example. There is no work which is required for me to be done, but even I work. Because if I do not work properly, it will stop the entire cycle of sacrifice. So, what is karma yoga? So, we said karma kanda to karma yoga. Karma kanda means doing yajna for the purpose of getting some enjoyment. But then karma yoga, no, doing yajna with detachment. That is karma yoga. And yesterday we saw how karma yoga is a method of connecting with the Lord, yajna. And the last section, which will come maybe tomorrow, next week, or let's see, that is about lust. How lust is a formidable enemy on the path of yoga. But by deliberate spiritual intelligence, Prabhupada writes, by deliberate spiritual intelligence, we need to be deliberate. Deliberate spiritual intelligence. One can conquer the lust, the most formidable enemy, by intelligence also. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is in the 11th canto, there is a very beautiful description about uh, 24 gurus. So there comes a story of Avdut Brahmana who learned lot of lessons from 24 gurus. And by taking shelter of these 24 gurus, like earth, air, sky, water, moon, sun, pigeon, python, then sea, then moth, then honeybee, and honey taker, then deer, then fish, then one kurari bird, and young girl, arrow maker, pingala, prostitute, spider, like that. By studying the activities of this different things in nature, this Avdut Brahmana came to the right conclusion. Now somebody may say, how is it that he came to right conclusion just by observing the nature? That is called as deliberate spiritual intelligence. So, especially somebody endeavoring for the path of liberation, even intelligence can help a person. Sometimes we deny the power of intelligence only. Moksha can be attained even by deliberate spiritual intelligence. By intelligence, also one can attain liberation. For getting Paramatma realization, one needs intuition. One needs intuition. Intuition means some special mercy of Lord is revelation of Lord is required. But for Bhagwan realization, only mercy is required. Without mercy, Bhagwan realization is impossible. So now we are coming to this section of Nishkam Karma Yoga. So yesterday, okay, just quick revision from yesterday's class. Any vital points, bullet points, any examples, stories you remember, you can write in chat box or you can unmute and speak quickly. Yes, Prabhu. You can raise your hands, unmute and speak, or any.
Prabhu, you made one point where you said one should not imitate, but one should follow.
One should, yeah, we should do anukaran. Not, we should do anukaran or anusaran.
Anusaran.
Anusaran. Okay. So we should do anusaran. Thank you, Prabhu. Akshay Prabhu is writing in the chat box. Universal becomes accessible when we perform yagya. It's for connecting with Krishna. Yeah. Universal means he's everywhere. But he's everywhere, but we are not able to see him anywhere. So if anywhere, person who is anywhere, who is not found any, who is not seen anywhere, can be seen now here by yagya. That is universal becomes accessible when you perform yagya. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, any other discussion? Yes, please.
Only one point which is told that prosperity of the world is not in our hands, but in the background arrangement made by the Lord.
Yeah, this was a very beautiful statement. The prosperity
Recording
of
in
this
progress.
the background arrangement of the Lord. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful point. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, and we also discussed like violence is necessary when good arguments fails.
Violence is necessary
When good arguments fails. In that
yeah,
case,
okay, okay. That Prabhupada writes in the purport. That
yes,
violence also has a utility. Ashish Prabhu is writing small wells. There can be many wells for different purpose, for drinking water, for taking bath, and for offering to the deities. But one river is sufficient, because the river is a flowing river. Any water which flows will never get contaminated, but a water which becomes stagnant becomes contaminated. That's why there is one saying in Hindi. Anyone of you know this saying? बहता पानी रमता योगी कभी मलिन नहीं होता. बहता पानी रमता योगी कभी मलिन नहीं होता. महाराज से लाइक दैट. बहता पानी मतलब जब पानी जो बहता रहता है हमेशा प्योर रहता है. और योगी जो रमता रहता है मतलब उसको एक जगह पर सेटल नहीं होना चाहिए, घूमते रहना चाहिए. एक जगह पर सेटल हो जाएगा तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. तो इसे घूमते रहो ताकि डिटैचमेंट रहेगा. एंड इसे सच अ पर्सन विल रिमेन प्योर. थैंक यू. Kaushik was telling, being non-violent is also personal attachment. But working for Rod is really working without attachment. Yeah, that is a personal attachment, personal choice. Violent, non-violent. Lord instruction is good for the soul. Yeah, this statement was very hitting for me also. Thank you, Karthik bro. That Lord is our well-wisher and all his instructions are very good for us. So we should just listen to their instructions. Akshay bro is writing, actions in Krishna consciousness transcends even good and evil work. And we discussed examples that outside world may consider certain activities to be good, certain activities to be bad, good, bad, good, bad. But no, actions in Krishna consciousness, they transcend all these things. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. I think today devotees have joined less. You can just send a gentle reminder to those of your friends who are missing from all your friends and voices. So we can begin. And from tomorrow onwards, Prabhu, we can Tejas Prabhu, we can put a waiting room. Those who don't come after 7:05, max to max,
Yes,
don't
sir.
admit them only. After 7:05, whoever comes, they are late only. Okay.
Ah,
So
yeah.
no,
Yes.
no entry after 7:05. And I remember in our Bhakti Shastri class, 1 minute late is a late. A late means I have to stand for next 3 hours standing outside the door. The door will be also closed. The door will be closed, and I have to hear from the door what is going on inside. That was our Bhakti Shastri. So this is a very serious training which we are taking, Prabhu. So in case of your friend are missing, whichever voice, Mayapur voice, GGD voice, you can check whoever is missing and you can call them. So yeah. Rishank Prabhu is writing, great devotee perform duty to set an example. Yeah, Janak Maharaj example was given that great devotees perform so many duties just to set an example. Okay, thank you. Any other points from yesterday's class? We discussed example of actions which outside world applauded, but devotees do not. Yeah, same. Actions in Krishna consciousness transcend good and evil work. Outside people may have different understanding, but we don't go by their understanding only. We have to take. Okay, thank you. Any other
One
points?
point you mentioned about acting for Krishna under proper guidance.
Yeah, Prabhupada
मतलब
writing purport that acting under guidance, that is what is required. Yeah. Thank you.
Prabhuji, we saw that a self-realized person is not obliged to do any duty, but then also Krishna says that Janak Maharaj did, and I am also not obliged to do, but I also do my duty. So to set an examples, we have to do duties.
Yeah, thank you. So now moving forward to this our section now. So till now, yesterday we discussed till verse number 3 point. And which loka is 321? Very easy to remember. I told 321. 321 is which one?
Acharati Shreshtas.
Yadyadacharati Sreshtas. So nice number. 321. The very famous loka which we quote many times. So now the section which is now very beautiful verses are going to come. The most famous people, the verses which we hear. So yesterday we discussed till which verse, Prabhu? Anukaran Anusaran, 24 we discussed, or 25 also we discussed?
25 we have to start.
25 we have to start. Now, till now Krishna spoke about that how to set an example also we should work. Now again, The good teacher, I said, na, good teacher always makes a comparison. Like after teaching every concept, we'll do again comparison. Like in the last chapter also, even after talking about Nishkam Karma Yoga, again Krishna starts speaking about Karma Kand, and he does a comparison that how Karma Kand is bogus, Nishkam Karma Yoga is better. Now, having said again this many things about set an example, do the karma, and all these things, Nishkam Karma, again Krishna will do comparison. What is the difference between attached worker and a detached worker? So verse number 25 to 29. Verse number 25 to 29 will speak about the difference between attached worker and detached worker. Because Krishna emphasized so much on the principle of Nishkam Karma, that don't be detached worker. Work with detachment. Again and again Krishna spoke like this. But now he will tell some symptoms of people, those who are attached, and symptoms of people, those who are detached. So simple in short, those who are attached, they are called as karma kandi, and those who are detached, they are called as karma yogi. So basically in the verse 25, 26, 27, 28, he will speak about attached worker and detached worker. So the verse number 25 speaks about ideally one should act without attachment. Just to set an example. So, and the verse number 26 and 29 will say, but still there will be some people, they cannot act without attachment. So don't disturb them too much unnecessarily. Means don't disturb the ignorant person like this. Those people who act with attachment, they are called as ignorant people. But one should not disturb unnecessarily ignorant people also, because they will not be able to work on without with detachment. So 25, 26, and 29, they are 26, they are all discussing on this theme. And one very beautiful shloka will come when, so there are like there are different subsections here. So verse number 3.25, verse number 27 and 28. You can maybe note down this because this section is little different section, 25 to 29. Verse number 25, 27 and 28. They will describe the difference between attached worker and detached worker. And verse number 26 and 29 will describe how a detached worker deals with attached worker. I hope it is clear. Maybe I will put in chat box what is the sections about. So you can see here. So there are subsections here. Verse number 25, 27, and 28 describe the difference between attached worker and detached worker. And 26 and 29 will describe how detached worker deals with an attached worker. Okay, let's not confuse again and again with these words. We'll go to the verse number 25. Then things will become clear. Verse number 25. सक्ता कर्मणि अविद्वांसो यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद् विद्वांसथा सक्तास् चिकीर्षुर्लोकसंग्रहम्. Sakta karmani avidvamsho. So person who is vidwan, the opposite of vidwan is avidvam. Avidwan means ignorant person. Avidvamshah, the person who is not vidwan. Saktaha. Saktaha means avidwan person is saktaha. He's attached. Asaktaha is attached to what? Karmani. So ignorant people are attached to work. Ignorant people are attached to the work and the results of the work. Yatha kurvanti Bharata, let them be attached. Bharata, don't unnecessarily trouble them. Kuryad vidvam satha saktas. Kuryad. So, okay, let's read. Purport, translation, please read.
As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, The learned may similarly act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path.
Yeah.
Purport.
Ignorant people perform their duties with attachment, but they perform the duties. So, but what you should do? What you should also be doing your duty. Only thing is without attachment. Don't focus. Don't become asakta. Ignorant people, they do their duties so nicely. They are so busy in doing their duty nicely and they're working so hard, but they are attached. Similarly, you should do your duties, but not with attachment. Yes, Fuji Parpat.
A person in Krishna consciousness and a person not in Krishna consciousness are differentiated by different desires. A Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not conducive to development of Krishna consciousness. He may even act exactly like the ignorant person who is too much attached to material activities, but one is engaged in such activities for the satisfaction of his sense gratification, whereas the other is engaged for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, the Krishna conscious person is required to show the people how to act and how to engage the results of action for the purpose of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So basically, the two kinds of workers, one is attached and one is detached. And outside, so some Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that we should get even inspiration from karmis, how hard they are working for sense gratification. And similar inspiration we should derive and work hard for Krishna's satisfaction. So if karmis can do their duties so nicely, so responsibly, they are ignorant people. They are doing their duties so nicely. I can take inspiration from them. And Krishna conscious person also does similarly activities nicely, but there is a no attachment to the results. So that is the difference. 25. Okay, 26th. न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानं कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्त समाचरन्. So he said, na bhedam janayet ajnanam. Don't disturb the foolish people. Karma sanginam, who are attached to fruity words. Joshayet, but he should dovetail. Dovetail. Joshayet. So this word for dovetail is joshayet. उसका जो जोश है, उसका जो उत्साह है, उसको डाउटेल करो. जोश चाहिए. सो जोश, वन शुड डाउटेल. सो कोई इग्नोरेंट व्यक्ति है जो अच्छे से काम काम कर रहा है, बेचारे को आप उसको रिनंसिएशन का पाठ पढ़ाकर उसको अननेसरी मत डिस्ट्रैक्ट करो. उसके जो भी अटैक, उसका जो भी कर्म है, उसको डाउटेल करो. दिस इज द वे इग्नोर. यस प्रो. ट्रांसलेशन.
So, as not to disturb the mind of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sort of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So all of us, we have modes. All of us are conditioned by modes: goodness, passion, ignorance. So here, Prabhupada is in Krishna. Krishna is also writing. Prabhupada is writing in the purport that one should not unnecessarily stop people from working. That give up all work. Material work is all maya, and this is all nonsense. Don't do any kind of work and give up. Become tyag. No, because a person has tendency to work. Teach him how to work in the spirit of devotion. Srila Prabhupada did like that with hippies. Hippies came with so many different tendencies. Prabhupada dovetailed their work in Krishna consciousness. So it was not Karma Yoga, but it was Bhakti Yoga only. But Srila Prabhupada used all their tendencies to work and all their modes: printing, publishing, distributing books, doing Harinam Sankirtan, whatever tendencies were there, they were engaged in the spirit of devotion. So, like this it is said. Purport?
Purport. Vedascha Sarvar Ahame Vedya. That is the end of all Vedic rituals, all performances of sacrifices, and everything that is pure into Vedas, including all directions for material activities, are meant for understanding Krishna, who is the ultimate goal of life. But because the conditioned souls do not know anything beyond sense gratification, they study the Vedas
to that end, but through fruitive activities and sense gratification regulated by the Vedic rituals, one is gradually related to Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a realized soul in Krishna consciousness should not disturb others in their activities or understanding, but he should act by showing how the results of all work can be dedicated to the service of Krishna. The learned Krishna conscious person may act in such a way that the ignorant person working for sense gratification may learn how to act and how to behave. Although the ignorant man is not to be disturbed in his activities, a slightly developed Krishna consciousness person may directly be engaged in the service of Lord without waiting for other Vedic formulas. For this fortunate man, there is no need to follow the Vedic rituals because by direct Krishna consciousness, one can have all the results one would otherwise derive from following one's prescribed duties.
So certain points here is that this is the end of all Vedic rituals. That all Vedic rituals are meant for only one thing. They are meant for understanding Krishna because he is the ultimate goal of life. Now, conditioned souls, they know only sense gratification. Even they study Vedas only for sense gratification only. But rather than stopping them to read Vedas only by telling that sense gratification is bad, why you are reading for Vedas for this, okay, engage them in the regulated activities. Engage them in regulated Vedic rituals. And then slowly they will come to Krishna consciousness. So there are two paths always, gradual path and fast track path. But some people, those who are not able to follow the fast track path, don't unnecessarily trouble them. Let them follow the gradual path rather than following no path. So here is mentioning like that, that okay, the Karmakandi person is like this, we will follow the gradual path, and Karma Yogi is little more faster path, he will follow. And Bhakti is the fastest path. So that is basically Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is writing, don't disturb the minds of people who are attached to actions because of their impure hearts by saying, Are kya karma karte ho tum? This is all despicable. Give up action and practice jnana like me. No. Engage them. Engage their work. Don't stop the activities of people. Unless somebody is pure devotee, cannot do that way. So don't engage them. That is what is mentioned. Now the very, very famous shloka, and I think this will require some discussion. We'll do some discussion in this verse, 3.27. The famous shloka, which we quote many times. प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणे कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढ़ात्मा कर्ताहम् इति मन्यते. So to memorize this shloka, many of you might have already memorized this shloka. क्रियमाणानि, क्रियमाणानि मतलब ये क्रिया जो है किसके द्वारा हो रही है? प्रकृति के क्रिया द्वारा हो रही है. इस दुनिया में सारी क्रिया मानानी, सारे प्रकार के जो क्रिया है वो प्रकृति के द्वारा हो रही है. सर्वशः, ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ एक्टिविटी. अहंकार विमूढ़ आत्मा, द पर्सन who is bewildered by ahankar, vimudhatma, the person who has become foolish, vimuda, because of ahankar. He thinks what? Kartaham iti manyate, that I am the karta. He thinks that I am the karta. So this shloka is especially spoken about how one should learn to be detached from the activities and from detached from the results of activity, and one should be detached even from the work also, knowing that I am not the only doer. Prakrute kriyamanani. Who is the doer? Modes are the doer. Modes are the only doer that is being mentioned here now. That one should not become unnecessarily proud. Like let's say I did a construction very nicely. People may do wow, wow, kya construction kiya hai. So now somebody may become attached to the. He may become proud that see I am such a good singer. I am such a good player, cricket batsman. I am such a good hard worker. I am such an intelligent, sharp man. I can do huge amounts of programs and coding and everything. So he said, don't be attached to your skills and work. Why? Because you are not the doer. Who are the doers? The modes are the doer. Now let's understand this shloka properly. Translation. Yes, bro.
Translation. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities. that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature.
अमेजिंग ना. इज टेलिंग एक्चुअली आपको लग रहा है कि आप काम कर रहे हो, लेकिन मोड्स काम कर रहे हैं. तो जो विमूढ़ आत्मा है वो सोचता है कि मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, मेरे वजह से सक्सेस आया है, मैंने मेरे वजह से फेलियर आया है. लेकिन यहाँ पे कृष्णा कह रहे हैं, अरे एक्चुअली में तुम कुछ कर ही नहीं रहे हो. तुम्हारे पीछे सब थ्री मोड्स पड़े हैं, थ्री मोड्स ये काम कर रहे हैं, तुम बस एक माध्यम बन गए हो. सो ऐसा अगर ये क्यों बता रहे कृष्णा, ताकि व्यक्ति समझे कि अननेसेसरी अटैच ना हो जाए अपने वर्क से. ही शुड नॉट बिकम अटैच टू हिज वर्क एंड अटैच टू द रिजल्ट्स ऑफ द वर्क. सो समटाइम्स when we do the work and we get success, we become very proud. And when we certain times when we do work and we become failure, we become so depressed. Krishna is telling, don't get attached or detached. No, you are not the doer. There are some other doers than apart from you. Purport.
Purport. Two persons, one in Krishna consciousness and the other in material consciousness, working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference in their respective positions. The person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He does not know the mechanism of the body. He does not know the mechanism of the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. The person in false ego takes all the credit for doing everything independently, and that is the symptoms of his nescience. He does not know that his gross and subtle body is the creation of material nature under the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such, his body and mental activities should be engaged in the service of Krishna in Krishna consciousness. The ignorant man forgets that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Rishikesha, or master of the senses of the material body. For due to his long misuse of the senses in sense gratification, he is factually bewildered by the false ego, which makes him forget his eternal relationship with Krishna.
Which makes him forget his eternal relationship with Krishna. So here are some symptoms of materially attached person are given. So first symptom is he is convinced by false ego that he is the doer. Second, he takes credit for doing all activities, and that is a symptom of ignorance. So sometimes when you become successful as a team, Prabhu, you are able to hear me or my voice is breaking?
We are able
No,
to.
Okay. So the person in the false ego takes credit. This credit taking mentality is also called as symptom of ignorance. Many times we have tendency to take credit that I have done the preaching. I have brought the boys to program. I have made them bhakta. But there are hundreds, like I remember once upon a time, one mentor was complaining that प्रभु जी मैंने इतना मेहनत करके बच्चों को शिफ्ट किया, लेकिन बच्चों को कोई ग्रेटिट्यूड ही नहीं मेरे प्रति. कितना मेहनत किया, मैं कुकी दिया उसको, प्रसाद दिया, चैंटिंग करवाया, फॉलो किया, क्या क्या नहीं किया उस बच्चे के लिए मैंने, लेकिन इसको कोई ग्रेटिट्यूड ही नहीं है मेरे प्रति. तो डिवोटी ने उसको बोला, प्रभु ऐसा मत सोचो कि आपने किया है, ठीक है, मीन्स ही इज ग्रेटफुल, डोंट थिंक दैट ही इज नॉट ग्रेटफुल, बट डोंट थिंक दैट यू हैव मेड देम शिफ्ट लाइक दैट, इज नॉट प्रॉपर एटीट्यूड. मैं सेड नो प्रभु जी, मैं ही था बेचारा, वो हॉस्टल में तमोगुण में पढ़ रहा था, तमोगुण में सड़ सड़ रहा था, मैं ही गया, नॉक किया डोर, और मैं उसको पकड़ के लाया. बाद में उस बच्चे को पूछा गया, तो आप डिवोटी कैसे बने, होता है ना, मीन्स व्हेन यू आस्क एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ हाउ डिड यू बिकम डिवोटी. वही सर एक्चुअली मैंने बस ना प्रभुपाद का किताब मिला मुझे, मंदिर में गया था एक बार, मंदिर में से प्रभुपाद का किताब लिया, मंदिर में से वो किताब पढ़ा, फिर मुझे इंस्पिरेशन हुआ भक्त बनने का. उसने मेंटर को याद भी नहीं किया. बोले अरे क्यों, क्योंकि उसका हमें लगता है कि हम काम कर रहे हैं, हम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है. बहुत सारे फैक्टर आर हंड्रेड्स ऑफ फैक्टर्स विच आर अपार्ट फ्रॉम आवर फैक्टर. सो ही सेड, व्हाट इज मीनिंग ऑफ दिस श्लोका, प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणे कर्माणि सर्वशः. So one thing is, okay, let's try to understand this shloka with some reflection. Okay. Now, like somebody can misunderstand this shloka. When it is said that don't think that we are the doers. Modes are actually the doers. It is mentioned modes are the doers, the three modes, especially passion, ignorance, and goodness. Passion, ignorance, and goodness. PIG. Pig. So, passion, ignorance, and goodness. They are actually the doers of all the activities which are happening in this world. No, that does not mean that we are not doing anything here. When this shloka means, don't think that you are the only doer. There are some more doers apart from you. That, like now, let's consider an example. Hmm. Like singing is there. You consider a simple habit of singing. Now, singing, for a singing, what all things are required? Somebody has to sing very, very nicely. And what all different factors are involved? First, one has to have a, what to say, one should know what to sing first of all. The knowledge has to be there. Second is, he should have the knowledge of ragas and suras and all melodies and all. But apart from that, he needs a mouth also. If he is dumb, he cannot speak. If he is deaf, he cannot hear. How he will sing? So don't think that it is only by our own effort we are able to sing. There are many, many factors which are involved. Like we need a sense organs. Like somebody has got a nice plate of prasadam, feast is there, but he doesn't have hunger only. So now he will not relish the food. So considering this, there are many, many factors which are involved behind. So like for singing, we require good mouth, then we require good tongue, and we need good throat. Many other things are there. But now, these are all external sense organs. But these external sense organs, they are influenced by modes. The external sense organs, they are influenced by modes. Like you see, you arrange a feast of prasadam, and you take a opinion of voice, right? Like there are how many like okay now let's take a poll here only in our the Zoom chat only. How many of you you can just write what is the most favorite item which you like in Prasadam that you become excited when such items are there. Let's see, take a poll here that what is the favorite item if it comes into your feast plate you become wow excited. That this is today it my day मेरा डे बन गया आज तो मेरा दिन बन गया प्रसादम तो आप चैट में लिख सकते हो. ओके हमारे ड्यूटीज बहुत गुडनेस में लग रहे हैं. सबको स्वीट से पसंद आ रहे हैं माय गॉड सबको मिल्क स्वीट स्वीट राइस रबड़ी शाही टुकड़ा माय गॉड सबको स्वीट से पसंद आ रहे हैं. मैं स्वीट के अलावा कुछ किसी को पसंद आता है क्या और नमकीन तीखा सब मीठे सब हमारे मीठे भक्त लग रहे हैं. ओके. ओ आई थिंक हमारे ड्यूटीज गुडनेस में आने के बाद ओके ओमकार एक तो मिला मुझे. ओमकार रो पकोड़े पसंद आता है. एक को खिचड़ी पसंद आती है. वाह वाह. किसी को पनीर अच्छा लगता है.
खिचड़ी
और
कौन सा सही है?
क्या क्या
मतलब आपको फेवरेट है नहीं सही है।
अभिजीत प्रो को क्या कुछ बोल रहे हैं. खिचड़ी कौन. ओके खिचड़ी कौन सी दो लोगों को सेम मैच कर रहा है. सत्यनारायण प्रभु खिचड़ी कौन चीज बर्गर पिज्जा. माय गॉड. नाउ यू सी हियर एवरी डिवोटी इज अ डिवोटी ओनली. एवरीवन इज चैंटिंग. सबका अलग अलग चॉइस है. सबका चॉइस अलग है. कोई खिचड़ी कौन देखता है और बोलता है "यार, क्या वही खिचड़ी रोज वही बनता है इस वॉइस में कुछ भी हो गया खिचड़ी खिचड़ी क्या खिचड़ी कुछ तो नया होना चाहिए." कोई बोलेगा पनीर. और हमारे मंदिर में आप इसको एनवीसीसी में आके आप पनीर का सब्जी दो. बोले पनीर आज तो फास्टिंग करना पड़ेगा कोई तपस्या है. किसी को पनीर पसंद नहीं आता है. सब बोर हो गए पनीर खा खा के अभी. तो यू सी एंड किसी को तीखा अच्छा लगता है किसी को मीठा अच्छा लगता है किसी को ये अच्छा लगता है. सुनाओ सबके पास सेम टंग है. सबके पास सेम मतलब माइंड इंटेलिजेंस सब कुछ है. लेकिन व्हाट आर द थिंग्स विच इज इन्फ्लुएंसिंग. इट इज द थ्री मोड्स. इट इज द थ्री मोड. कोई एकदम किसी को एकदम राजसिक पसंद है किसी को एकदम तमोगुणी वाला पसंद है किसी को एकदम गुडनेस वाला पसंद है. जनरली दोज ऑफ यू लाइक स्वीट्स. इट इज सेड स्वीट्स आर इन द मोड्स ऑफ गुडनेस. तो द गुडनेस वाला स्वीट इज इन मोड ऑफ गुडनेस. टू मच तीखा इज इन द मोड ऑफ पैशन. एंड बासी सड़ा हुआ दैट इज इन द मोड ऑफ इग्नोरेंस. So goodness is, but too much of sweet is also comes under passion. Too much sweet comes under passion. So now here it is said, when any activity is done, there is a invisible doer which is behind all this, and that is what the three modes which are there. They are the invisible ropes which are binding a person. So don't think that any activity which are happening, they're happening by themselves. They are happening by the influence of invisible doers. So these are the three invisible doers which are there. So all activities are influenced by three invisible doers. That is more ignorance, passion, and goodness. So when now you may say, Ki, Prabhu, why we are discussing so much about this? So by understanding this, at least with intelligence, we know that I am not the doer. There are so many, like sometimes we are influenced by lust, sometimes we are influenced by passion, sometimes we are influenced by greed. So although we are responsible, soul is the only initiator of an action. Soul initiates the action, and he has free will to initiate the action. But then three modes, three modes, they facilitate the action and also influence the choices. Three modes, they influence the choice of person. Like a feast is there in the voice, who will take which item, that is not only dependent on that depends on three modes also, which mode is into it. So that three modes influence the choices of a person and they facilitate the action, and then soul initiates the action and he desires. And now even if this all things are there, but there has to be one more controller, that is Paramatma. Paramatma sanctions. If Paramatma doesn't sanctions, then all is nothing happens. Like I want to sing, I have a good mouth, I have a good tongue, I have a good throat, I am a good singer also. And three modes are also facilitating. Paramatma doesn't sanction only. The opportunity will only not come. Paramatma is an opportunity. Paramatma is a sanctioner. Paramatma sanctions, three modes facilitate and influence a choice, and soul initiates the action. So by understanding this, while doing karma yoga, one will understand that I should not get attached to the works. If I become successful in certain work, then I should not be taking credit for this. We should understand. Like somebody is a very good singer here, or somebody is a very expert cook. You should also know that I have learned certain cooking skills, but it is not only because of my cooking skills. Somehow I'm in that mode. I mean, those modes are there which are influencing my choices. So they are also the doers. Okay, one question has come. Sanket Prabhu is asking about what role does a free will play in the doer principle? Free will. Yeah, free will is a free will is a choice of soul. So soul initiates the action by his free will. But problem that has happened is because of his wrong actions in the past. Now the default options which are coming by three modes are the wrong. Now let's consider an example. Okay, I ask you a question now. Suppose it is asked to you, what is the capital of India? And three options are given. Beijing, Moscow, and Patna. Okay, Prabhu. What is the capital of India? Beijing, Moscow, or Patna? What do you say? Sanket was saying none. No, but only three options are there with you. Which one you will choose? Okay, Patna you will choose. At least it is in India. At least it is in India. Other things are out of India only. So the best option you have to mark is, now you may say, Prabhu, why such three options are given? This is wrong question only. The answers are only wrong. So this is the problem with the conditioned soul. Conditioned souls, what has happened is, in the case of conditioned soul, what has happened? Because of the repeated wrong choices, because of his not proper, because of his ignorance now, options which are coming, the default options which are coming to him are wrong options now. But then, okay, goodness. So passion, ignorance, and goodness. Passion, ignorance, and goodness. These options are coming. Ideal option is transcendental goodness. But okay, ठीक है. Something closer to transcendental goodness. Now let's choose at least Patna because it is in India. The goodness mode may be appearing better because of the conditioned soul being taking wrong choices repeatedly. That's why this three modes give a wrong option. But now, so what is a role of a free will? The role of a free will or a role of a soul now is who is initiator of action. That now getting spiritual knowledge, we should consciously make an effort by deliberate spiritual intelligence to make right choices. Now, when we make right choices again, these default options which are coming by three modes of nature, they will change. And then we will now you see so many of our actions have changed by free will. Like you go to a train now, and lot of like bhajis are coming and rabdis are coming and sweet rice is coming, but we don't take it. By conscious choice, now we have understood. By discrimination, we have understood, oh, that is not prasadam. I cannot take all these items now. Even if I like it, I will not take it. So by conscious choice, so soul has a free will to make a choice. Soul is a maker of choices. But the choices are influenced by three modes. They make an influence. But final choice maker is soul only. It is an initiator of action and it is a decision maker. But three modes, they give options. Three modes provide options. So Prakrute Kriya Manani. So the entire purpose of this shloka is to tell ऐसा मत सोचो कोई कार्य अगर आपने बहुत अच्छे से कर लिया है तो आपने किया है करके आपके पीछे करने वाले बहुत सारे एजेंट्स बैठे हैं पीछे. So okay, coming to the 28th shloka now.
Prabhuji, I have one question. Can I ask?
Yes, bro.
Prabhuji, we see that in case of pure devotees also they have some favorites, means they have also some favorite item to it. So how shall we understand that it is not under the modes and it is, so how to understand this?
Okay, favorite items. That is actually soul has liking. We cannot say that likings are not there for any person. So it is natural. Soul has desires. We are not desireless, but having something favorite is not a problem. Means, but it is not that he denies any other. He disrespects other sort of prasadam. Oh, this is Karela prasad. Hey, third class. This is Gulab Jamun prasad. Wow. But no, that is a distinction for a conditioned soul. But for pure devotee, Karela or sweet rice, everything, but he may have a choice. That is his favorite. And that ultimately everyone has a choice, na? That we have a choice to serve in specific rasa also. We have a choice to serve in madhurya, this and everything. So soul cannot be without any desires. That is his particular desire to relish that kind of prasadam. But we cannot say that is just this is just an example about prasadam. Don't take prasadam example too seriously that अरे बाबा प्रसादम में मैं मुझे स्वीट पसंद है मैं गुडनेस में हूँ और मैं पकौड़ा खाता हूँ तो मैं रजोगुण में हूँ. This is not about that. Prabhupada also used to like bengan pakoda very much. Like Prabhupada's favorite bengan pakoda and aloo cherchari, that was Prabhupada's favorite. So we cannot just prasadam से हम मोड्स इतना determine नहीं करेंगे. But this is an example given to conditioned souls how they are attracted by different things based on modes.
So Prabhuji, when the modes give us certain influence of choice, it is finally upon the conditioned soul to decide whether to act on this choice or not. So Prabhuji, when the conditioned soul is using the instruction from the scriptures to say no to certain things, so is this using knowledge, his knowledge is coming in mode of goodness or is it transcendence?
It's
When the
a
conditioned soul is using
anything which resonates with the vibration of Shastra should be understood to be transcendental goodness only. It is not goodness. Because the words of Guru, the words of Shastra, they are beyond all these three modes. They are beyond because all the three modes are like in the knowledge, it's knowledge in the ignorance only. That's why Traigunya Vishaya Veda. But the choices which are given by Shastra, the decisions of Shastra, they are beyond these three modes. Nirdvanda Nitya Sattvasto. So that is beyond this. So when we follow the instructions of Super Soul, when we follow the instructions of Guru, then this is not an activity. The decision we are in modes, but the decision which we are taking is not in the modes because we are hearing the words of someone who is beyond the mode. That's why Gunatita, he is Gunatita. We are following the Gunatita person. We are in Gunas, but we are following the Gunatita person. Gunatita. So the activity which we are doing is like chanting Hare Krishna now. He's chanting Hare Krishna in the modes. Now because we are in modes, sometimes it is influenced by Tamoguna. Our chanting, we are feeling sleepy, but chanting in itself is not Tamoguna. Chanting in itself is Shuddha Sattva or beyond. It's like pure spiritual activity, pure devotional activity. But because we are in the three modes and we are not able to take that activity, so then Tamoguna is influencing, Rajoguna is influencing, Sattva is influencing, like that. Because we have repeatedly taken such choices in our life before.
Thank you, Vijay. Also, Vijay, when we do some actions in this world, like somebody like to solve mathematics problem, somebody likes painting. So how can we dovetail this activity in transcendence? Because it is they are somehow or other liking certain type of activity and they are doing that type of job. Just like in my case, I like to teach maths or learn maths. So how can such activity be dovetailed in transcendence, not in goodness? So is it possible, or one have to give up this activity if one have to come to the
No,
platform of transcendence?
actually, that is why this entire section has been given. That sometimes, like we are, like suppose I am Shudra now, hmm. And this is only it is being told that don't try to unnecessarily change. Like you have to cooperate with your modes. Cooperate with the modes means certain modes I have acquired in my life now, and certain things which are not favorable I may try to change, but in general I cannot just suddenly change my modes. That's why karma yoga is being mentioned. Like Arjuna is told here, okay, suddenly adapt to the mode of goodness and do speculation and do jnana and all. No, that's why this whole intersection is coming, that learn to cooperate with your modes. Learn to cooperate means what? Joshayet. Learn to dovetail the modes. And because suddenly you cannot jump to mode of goodness like this, or suddenly you cannot jump to this. So engage your modes. Something which is favorable, something which is dovetailable. Like suppose somebody is very mathematical. So there are seven types of intelligence which we know, and in the seven types of intelligence, one intelligence comes as mathematical intelligence. So such a person, they have a lot of ability to innovate, create, or devise some plans, or make us some blueprints, action plans, because they have that logical ability. Logical ability is there. So understand Shastras very nicely, logically, technically, and go into philosophical speculation. Mental speculation is wrong, but philosophical speculation is a very okay, very good to do. So do philosophical speculation, learn, innovate, create, and use such ideas in service of Lord. And you see, if you see the kind of services which we are doing, many times our choices of seva also is based on that only. Somebody likes different kind of seva. Somebody who is a brahmana, he will write reading scriptures and thinking about shastras, will not do too much hard work. Generally, will not do into too much. Somebody kshatriya, he will like naturally will take management, administration, delegating, powering, punishing, empowering. Modes are there, and we cannot say that these modes, we cannot suddenly jump, oh goodness is better, let me do to goodness only. ठीक है, we want to rise to goodness, but take first, because we are ultimately don't want to stack up to goodness also, we want to engage in Shuddha Sattva. So whatever modes Krishna has provided us, learn to cooperate with the modes and take their help to go to render bhakti. Now Shudra, somebody may say Shudra is bad person only, all dirty qualities, but it is not Shudra. Shudra is not outcast. Shudra is also in the four caste only. Shudra is not outcast. Shudra is also one of the Varna is there. And there are certain good qualities of Shudra. What are the good qualities of Shudra?
He follows the upper
Obedient.
three classes.
Yes.
Obedience.
Okay.
Obedience.
Yeah. Shudra
Obedience,
is obedient. Shudra is obedient. Shudra is very loyal. Shudra is very hard worker. Shudra is submissive. That are the qualities of a Shudra. तो कभी कभी प्रश्न आना चाहिए, क्या मैं ओबीडियंट हूँ क्या मैं सबमिसिव हूँ क्या मैं लॉयल हूँ क्या मैं हार्ड वर्कर हूँ नहीं तो मैं शूद्रा भी नहीं हूँ। कभी कभी हम बोलते हैं ना, प्रभु मैं तो शूद्रा हूँ, तो एक बार मुझे लगता था, हम लिए ऐसा ड्रामा करते हैं ना, प्रभु मैं तो शूद्रा हूँ, आप ब्राह्मण हो। सोचना चाहिए, शूद्रा बोलने के लिए भी अपने अपना शूद्रा की भी लायकत नहीं है अपनी तो। शूद्रा से भी नीचे है हम, आउटकास्ट ही और है, मतलब समटाइम्स वी से लाइक दैट, बिकॉज़ शूद्रा आल्सो हैज सो मेनी गुड क्वालिटीज। ओनली थिंग इज अनक्लीन, ही इज अनक्लीन इन हिज अफेयर्स, but is obedient, is submissive, is hardworking, and all these things are there. So now there are good benefits of Shudra then. Somebody now comes to bhakti. Naturally, this modes will help him. He will become servant of servant. He will become obedient to the authorities, and he will become submissive to the authorities. So use the modes which are there. for engaging in service. So this modes, so dovetail, that's why it is called as dovetail the modes. So like you asked about your mathematical intelligence and technical intelligence, we can use to innovate, create, devise the new plans, make the blueprints, and learn philosophical speculation. This all things are there. So
So
okay.
Prabhuji, in this way, by using these modes in the service of Lord, one can transcend the modes,
Yes,
right?
yes. Thank
And still,
Transcend.
Prabhuji, he will be doing the same activity, just like maybe he's doing mathematics here, he may do accounting for temple. But now
Yeah.
the difference is before he's attached to his skills and now he's not attached. So that is the difference, na?
Yes, yes. Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, that's why there was Varnashram.
Prabhuji, to be extend for this question, the success. Suppose a person get a success, and he know there is behind the prakriti, but still he get the pride. So the person is learned or ignorant.
He gets a pride. Sorry, what's the question, Prabhuji?
Still, suppose a person get some success. He know that there is a behind the prakriti are doing all these things. Uh, Still he get some pride and like the false ego like that thing. So still this person is ignorant person or learned person.
A little bit ignorance is there, not fully. Little bit ignorance is he's not fully knowledgeable. So one should not unnecessarily become proud. That feeling happy is not wrong, Prabhu. Huh? When sometimes let's say you got a first rank in the college, and now
Hmm.
suppose you don't become proud. But don't become proud. That does not mean not become happy. एकदम सड़ा हुआ चेहरा लेके डिप्रेस बेचारा हाय मायूस है मैं फर्स्ट रैंक आया प्रभु जी, ऐसा नहीं है, हैप्पी रह सकता है भक्ति, ऐसा नहीं कि हमें हैप्पी हैप्पी रहने में कोई प्रॉब्लम है करके, पर प्राइड नहीं होना चाहिए। मीन्स समथिंग यू डू गुड नेचुरली विल फील हैप्पी ना। यू शिफ्टेड 10 बॉयज टू वॉइस एंड बोलना नहीं ना प्रभु जी मैं तो बहुत नहीं, हैप्पी फील होने में कोई गड़बड़ नहीं है, हैप्पी रहो। उसमें क्या है, हैप्पी रहने के लिए बोला है कृष्णा, चैंड हरे कृष्णा एंड बी हैप्पी, बट डोंट बिकम प्राउड, डोंट टेक फुल क्रेडिट, एक्नॉलेज द क्रेडिट, आपका भी क्रेडिट है, आप टॉपर आए हो, ऐसा नहीं कि आपका कुछ भी क्रेडिट नहीं है, आपने इनिशिएट किया है, आपने हार्डवर्क किया है, आपने डिजायर किया है, लेकिन पूरा क्रेडिट मत लो। जब भी क्रेडिट कोई आपको क्रेडिट देता है उसको पास कर दो, ये प्रभु मेरे वजह से नहीं हुआ है, इनकी वजह से हुआ है, इन्होंने मुझे पढ़ाया, ये मेरे टीचर ने मुझे पढ़ाया, ये भक्तों ने मुझे हेल्प किया, भक्तों ने कोऑपरेट किया, भगवान ने मुझे बुद्धि दिया है, मेरा क्या है इसमें। सो लाइक दैट वी शुड नॉट टेक क्रेडिट। सो बट बिकमिंग हैप्पी इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम। ऐसा नहीं कि रोते रहना है हमेशा कि मैं टॉपर आया, रोना है, ऐसा नहीं है। और ऐसा भी
प्रभु
नहीं
जी
कि
एक
एक्टिविटी नहीं करना, मुझे प्राइड आ जाएगा, कोई बोलता है कि अब रोज ही मैं अगर अच्छा गाना गाऊंगा टेम्पल हॉल में और बहुत सारे लोग आएंगे उस दिन, फेस्टिवल के दिन मुझे अगर कीर्तन दिया, लाखों लोग आने वाले हैं और मैंने अच्छा गा लिया अगर, तो लोग मेरे को जय जयकार बोलेंगे, वाह क्या गाया प्रभु जी, फिर मुझे प्राइड आ जाएगा, तो मैं एक्टिविटी नहीं करूंगा। दिस इज ऑल्सो रॉन्ग। मतलब अभी वो तो दिस इज ऑल्सो रॉन्ग है टेंडेंसी कि मैं एक्टिविटी नहीं करूंगा। नहीं, डोंट टेक क्रेडिट, डू द एक्टिविटी।
प्रभु जी
यस।
और एक था कि सपोज कुछ सिनेरियो में मतलब वो लेना पड़ता है क्रेडिट, क्योंकि जैसे कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ में सपोज कुछ अचीवमेंट आ गया, तो इनकेस अगर वो क्रेडिट नहीं लेंगे तो क्या होता है, जो हायर अथॉरिटी होता है, जो बॉस वगैरह होता है, तो वो रॉन्ग वे में लेते हैं कि इसने कुछ किया ही नहीं, ऐसे ही मिल गया उसको। तो नेक्स्ट टाइम पे कुछ अपॉर्चुनिटी आता तो वो मतलब वो स्किप करके किसी और को दे सकते हैं, तो उस टाइम पे कैसा करना चाहिए प्रभु जी फिर?
Actually, here all karmas which are being talked about is like a spiritual life. Material life is really amazing life. Material life, many of the things which are there are totally opposite to spirituality, right? Like it is said in the corporate life, in bhakti you have to be humble. In corporate also life also you have to be humble, but you have to tell also that I did. मेरा appraisal क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? Like in bhakti you don't go for bhakti you don't go कि प्रभु मेरा प्रमोशन क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, मेरा सेवा क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, मेरा कोई गुणगान क्यों नहीं कर रहा है। मटेरियल लाइफ में अगर आजकल ऐसा हो गया है कि आपने बोला नहीं, अप्रेजल नहीं हो रहा, तो बोलता है कि अरे बहुत सेटिस्फाइड व्यक्ति है वो ये। सो एक्सटर्नली डू वॉट एवर इज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर योर जॉब एंड प्रोफेशन, दैट्स व्हाई एक्सटर्नल एक्शंस may be different sometimes, but internally be convinced that I am not. So this is a very tough task. Like I remember there was one devotee, he's in ashram now. So he was working in company, Infosys, and he worked in 7 years in the same company. And one day manager came and asked him, "Hey, don't you feel like changing the company?" Manager is only telling, इतना भी एक कंपनी में नहीं रहना चाहिए, स्विच कर लो, ज़्यादा भी इतना नहीं करना चाहिए, वी कैन चेंज द कंपनी। बोला अरे यहाँ पे ऐसा हो गया है कि मटेरियल में Loyalty is the quality which is appreciated in the spiritual life. सब कोई लॉयल है, कोई चेस्ट है, कंपनी छोड़ता नहीं है. लेकिन आजकल मटेरियल में उल्टा हो गया है. कोई चेस्ट है तो बोलता है अरे पागल है क्या तू, फटाफट चेंज करना चाहिए, एक एक साल में चेंज करना चाहिए, लाइक दैट. सो दिस इज मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, बट this is what we are discussing here is about mainly spiritual life. So do whatever is practical for your material work, but don't be attached. Okay, I think Prabhu, we'll just take one more verse, and then because this will not get section will not get completed otherwise. Okay. तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्म विभागयो गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्त इति मत्वा न सज्जते.
Translation: One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, O mighty arm, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the differences between the work in devotion and work for fruitive results. Purport: The knower of the absolute truth is convinced of his awkward position in material association. He knows that he is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and that his position should not be in material creation. He knows his real identity as part and parcel of the Supreme, who is eternal bliss and knowledge, and he realizes that somehow or other he is entrapped in the material conception of life. In his pure state of existence, he is meant to dovetail his activities in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He therefore engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness and becomes naturally unattached to the activities of material senses, which are all circumstantial and temporary. He knows that his material conception of life is under the supreme control of the Lord. Consequently, he is not disturbed by all kinds of material reactions, which he considered to be the mercy of the Lord. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, one who knows the absolute truth in three different features, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called Tattvavita. For he knows also his own factual position in relationship with the Supreme.
Now your question, Weber Pro, that proper is acknowledging and empathizing that those who are devotees, they know that they are in awkward position right now. We have to work in the material life, material circle, and which is little awkward, totally awkward, no? Because we have to act in certain way, that we have to be showing that we are attached and yet not be attached. This is quite like go inside the water and still remain dry. Walk inside the rain, still remain dry. And eat the rasgulla, but don't enjoy it. This is a very tough position, no? Because that is an awkward position. So he said a devotee, how he remains aloof from all this. So he said one should know first his real identity. This is the way we can remain aloof. That know the real identity, that we are part and parcel of Krishna. Second is know that somehow I am entrapped. मैं इस बॉडी में फंस चुका हूँ, एक मशीन के अंदर मैं फंस गया हूँ. तो जो भी रिएक्शंस आ रहे हैं, मैं उससे अलग हूँ. मैं ये मशीन नहीं हूँ, मैं ये मशीन से अलग हूँ. और जो भी आ रहा है रिएक्शंस एक्शंस, ये सब मशीन के ऊपर एक्टिविटी हो रही है, लेकिन मुझे उस पर प्रभाव पड़ेगा क्योंकि मैं मशीन के अंदर हूँ, तो प्रभाव आ रहा है. एंड नाउ I have to learn to dovetail my activities in service of Krishna. So he said, by doing like this, slowly, he becomes naturally unattached to the activities of material senses. So second thing which is mentioned is he knows that material condition of life is under the supreme control of Lord. So even what is happening with me right now in the material condition of life is directly, indirectly under the control of Lord. So whatever the situation, circumstances which are coming in my life are also under the control of Supreme Lord. So he is not disturbed by all kinds of material reactions. So we should know one thing, that where this point was there, no, circumstantial and temporary. This word came somewhere. हाँ, So all activities which are done by material senses right now are circumstantial and temporary. जैसे कि आपको जॉब में जाना है और सर्टेन टाइप ऑफ बिहेवियर करना है, इट्स अ सर्कमस्टेंशियल बिहेवियर एंड इट्स अ टेम्पररी बिहेवियर. इट्स अ सर्कमस्टेंसेस. सो लाइक टेम्पररी मतलब ठीक है, कुछ समय के लिए करना पड़ेगा, जब तक मैं प्योर स्टेज में नहीं हूँ. आई हैव टू डू वट एवर इज नीडेड नाउ, बट इट्स अ टेम्पररी बिहेवियर. So don't get too much attached by disturbed by temporary setbacks or temporary like that. Okay, one more verse we'll read and then we'll end today. 29. प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढा सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् आकृत्स्न विदो मन्दा कृत्स्न विन्न विचालयेत्. Whose turn? Please read.
Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached, but the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to performers' lack of knowledge. Persons who are unknowledgeable falsely identify with gross material consciousness and are full of material designations. This body is a gift of material nature, and one who is too much attached to the bodily consciousness is called manda, or a lazy person, without understanding of spirit soul. Ignorant men think of the body as the self. They accept bodily connections with others as kinsmanship. The land in which the body is obtained is their object of worship, and they consider the formalities of religious rituals to be ends in themselves. Social work, nationalism, and altruism are some of the activities for such materially designated persons. Under the spell of such designation, they are always busy in the material field. For them, spiritual realization is a myth, and so they are not interested. Those who are enlightened in spiritual life, however, should not try to agitate such materially engrossed persons. Better to prosecute one's own spiritual activities silently. Such bewildered person may be engaged in such primary moral principles of life as nonviolence and similar materially benevolent work. Men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness, and therefore Lord Krishna advises us not to disturb them and simply waste valuable time. But the devotees of Lord are more kind than the Lord because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Consequently, they undertake all kinds of risks, even to the point of approaching ignorant men to try to engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human being.
So one who knows everything does not disturb foolish people who do not know. So Krishna is telling, don't disturb unnecessarily them. Those who are foolish people, they will work like that. Don't disturb them. But Prabhupada is telling that devotees of Lord are more kind than Lord. Devotees are more merciful than Krishna also. So Krishna is telling not to approach such people. But devotees still go and take an endeavor to go and preach and help people. That is because that is the very necessity for a human being. So that is the Krishna, that is devotees kripa for the conditioned soul. That they try to pull even a person who is ignorant and who is under the spell of the Maya, it tries to pull them to bhakti path. So in this verse till now, there has been mentioning about that those who are ignorant, those who are karma kandi, those who are attached further, let them remain attached, don't disturb them, and the symptoms of unattached and detached. Now, the tomorrow next session onwards, we'll discuss on one topic of how the theme will change now. That having described about karma yoga till now, Krishna will now mention that ultimately he is the object of everything. He is object of karma yoga, and all activities should be done for as an offering to him. And when somebody does karma yoga in such a manner, such a karma yoga will become bhakti yoga. So Krishna from verse number 30 to 32, upcoming next three verses, 30, 31, 32, he will speak about how you should work for me and you should just follow me. And if you do this, then your karma yoga is no more karma yoga. The karma yoga is bhakti yoga. And if you follow my teachings faithfully, then what will happen? You will become free from the bondage. And if you do not follow my teachings, then you will be ruined. Your life will be useless. Krishna will tell. So basically, work in such manner, and then work on, and again, verse number 33 to 35, which are going to come, they will speak about. Now, suppose a person who is aware of punishments of sinful actions and who knows that he is afraid also of committing the sinful actions, but even after being afraid of doing wrong activities, due to my strong past bad habits and impressions, I am forced to commit sinful activities. So Krishna will again mention that what is the deep-rooted condition in nature a living entity has. But how bhakti is very, very glorious. That despite of all the bad past habits and conditionings, one can overcome them simply by doing bhakti. Bhakti never becomes a hurdle. The past bad habits don't become a hurdle in doing bhakti. So that theme will come. And the last section will discuss about lust. The last 8-10 shlokas will discuss about how to conquer the greatest enemy of a conditioned soul, that is lust. That time we'll have good amount of discussion because this is like an evergreen problem for everyone. So yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in one of the verses in Bhagavad Gita, Mamcha Vabhicharena Bhakti Yogina Sevate, Saguman Samatityetan Brahma Bhuya Kalpita. In that verse, we see that one who never acts in the mode and one who is very determined can cross the influence of the mode. Something like this is the meaning of that verse. Mamcha Bhakti Yogina Sevate is constantly engaged. Prabhuji, how to develop that determination that we don't act in mode? Because we have knowledge that it is not right. Still, sometimes we act in mode in spite of knowledge. So knowledge is not helping. Knowledge to a certain extent can give us determination, but how to improve our determination beyond that so that we cannot fall in any circumstances?
The question is, although we know that we should not act under modes, but still we are forced to act under modes, and how to come to that platform that not be influenced by modes. This is only the discussion is going on in the initial level. That's why sadhaka is asked to dovetail the modes. Dovetail. When we dovetail, the dovetail means whatever modes are given, whatever modes we are in, use them in service of Krishna. And once you use it in service of Krishna, you get a higher taste. Then you will also, like you see in the initial days, we have been given seva in voice. When somebody comes to voice, he's given, okay, Prabhu, you become morning program in charge. Oh, Prabhu, you become do this. Certain times it is suitable to our modes also. And then we get an appreciation. Wow, you did such a nice cooking. You did such a nice management. We get an appreciation. And then we, because of appreciation, then we develop love for the person. Oh, this person appreciated me for my work. But next time he will give some work to us. And he will say, do this jhadu pocha. And then, oh, I don't like jhadu pocha. I like this only. But no, because we love that person now, we develop some higher taste of rendering some seva to Krishna. Then now we are doing even the work which we don't like. So slowly we are graduating from attached work to detached work. So that's why on spiritual life, jo bola so karo. Jo bola so karo means do the activity for the pleasure of devotees. But initially, if you're not able to act on that platform, do what at least you like to do and that great devotee also likes to do. So do some service which is common. And then you will also do something which is not common. And generally, great devotees will not engage us like that. They will generally try to give us something which we like also. At least in our temple, in our voices, we take care. And something which you like, something which is suitable to your psychophysical nature and modes, such kinds of engagements are given so that you remain happy. Like for me now, suppose cooking is the most last thing to be done. Unless nobody is there to cook, no option is there of prasadam. That is the last thing which I will do is cooking. But somebody tells me you do the seva of cooking, it will become very burdensome for me, very burdensome for me. Cooking is very difficult. No, last thing. Everyone will get boiled sabjis and everything that only. All voice will fast only if I cook. But some no option, then I will do. There is no option. So dovetail the modes. Dovetail the modes means okay, whatever modes are there, dovetail them in the initial level. Then slowly we develop detachment. Kunal Prabhu is asking how to understand that certain things happening in life are our own prarabdha or mercy of Lord. Oh, so basically, Prabhu, as a devotee considers everything as a mercy of Lord. Because by the time, since the time we have come to Krishna consciousness, there is no prarabdha, there is no prarabdha, means all that, even if those things are there, They're under the control of the Lord. That's why devotee always sees in that way. Tatteno kampa susumekshamana bhunjana eva atma kirtam vipakam. So when wrong things are happening in my life, I should see that this is a result of my own bad karma. मैंने कृतम विपाकम, मैंने इसको पकाया है. ये मैंने पुराने जन्म में पुराने जन्म में या पुराना कर्म मैंने बहुत खराब काम किया है, उसका रिएक्शन मुझे मिल रहा है. लेकिन ये मर्सी ऑफ लॉर्ड है. मर्सी ऑफ लॉर्ड क्यों है? भगवान ने उसको रिएक्शन को बहुत मिनिमाइज करके दिया है, और दिया भी है तो मेरे शुद्धिकरण के लिए दिया है. So as a devotee sees everything as a mercy of Lord only, even the things which are happening according to prarabdha, because for a devotee, since the time he has declared his control on the Lord, there is no prarabdha or nothing which will trouble him like that. Even if it is troubling, that is mercy of the Lord. Yes, Abhijit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, ma'am. Prabhuji, like in this entire third chapter, we were kind of discussing the like abouts of Nishkam Karma Yoga. So, like, I just wanted to know the clear difference between Bhakti Yoga and Nishkam Karma Yoga, because, like, what we are discussing, like, whatever modes we have right now in our present state, doubting that in the service of Krishna, that is Bhakti Yoga. But, like, in the previous chapter, we were discussing that Bhakti Yoga is like whatever, like, whatever service it is given from superiors, even though we may not like it, or it may not be our like cup of tea, that is, but like we are surrendering that, and then to that service, and that is Bhakti Yoga. So, like, exactly, can you just draw a line?
So what is the difference between Nishkam Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga? Very, very close. Nishkam Karma Yoga is very, very close to Bhakti, because a person is not attached to the results of his activity. That is Nishkam. He is not attached to the results of his activity, and he may not be even attached to the work which he is doing. But still, that doesn't necessarily mean he's doing activities for the pleasure of the Lord. He's not attached. So Jnanis, Karmi, sometimes they may not be even attached. But doing it for the pleasure of Lord, that makes bhakti. That's why, na? Anya abhilashita shunyam. Okay, that is nishkam. Anya abhilashita shunyam. Jnana karmadi anavritam. Anukulyena krishnanushilanam. Something which is done intentionally for the pleasure of Lord. That is the definition of a bhakti. That is the definition of bhakti. Something which is intentionally done with a desire to please the Lord. So nishkam karma in it itself will not become bhakti. But if it is done with an intention to the please Lord, then he is graduating towards steps of bhakti. And there are, because in Shuddha Bhakti there are many other factors which are there. That anya abhilashita shunyam ज्ञान कर्म, ज्ञान से भी ऊपर और कर्म के अनादि अवृतम, सबको फेंक दिया इसने. ज्ञान कर्मादिनावृतम अनुकूल्येन, एंड ओनली कृष्णानु, नो अदर डेमिगॉड्स ऑल्सो. निष्काम कर्म somebody may even do for demigods also, but शुद्ध भक्ति में क्या होता है? कृष्णा आता है, कृष्णा. So निष्काम कर्म योग somebody may do, not attached to work, even for the demigods, but that is not bhakti in itself. So but somebody does niskam karma yoga for Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure, that is as good as bhakti only, because Krishna factor has come there now. So this is the main difference. I think maybe what I'll do is in the next class we'll have a comparative study of again one more of what exactly the difference is, how karma yoga becomes nishkam karma yoga, how nishkam karma yoga becomes bhakti yoga and ज्ञान योगा. थोड़ा टेक्निकल एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा ये क्या होता है एग्जैक्टली. तो एक एग्जांपल के माध्यम से हम ट्राई करेंगे समझने का कि कब हो जाए.
Okay, brother. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhus. So we'll pause here. पांचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः वत्स पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय. श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. So Tejas Prabhu, in the next class, you can post now on WhatsApp group. 7:05 waiting room will start, and those who don't come before 7:05, their attendance will be marked as late. Okay, they will be admitted with a late attendance. So we can enable the waiting room at 7:05. So you can post on WhatsApp group. Otherwise, devotees are joining very late. Hare Krishna.